let's see. Testing, test. Oh, hold on. I should be live now. There I go. Okay. What's up, taters? Yeah, that's just a little dancing. Hold on a second. Let me. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alrighty. Hold on a second. Let me check some other things too. For a second. Hold on. Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, guys. Now, let me tell you something. Normally, let me just say this. Normally, when we do watch parties on the treeoflogic.com website, I let the video play uninterrupted, no commentary, nothing. However, this is going to be an exception. For one, it's only like, what, 30-something minutes? Hold on a second. Let me see. This video is only 32 minutes long. So it's not even a long documentary. And they got it. Oh, I cannot believe they're like breaking it up in different episodes. So this is episode 1. So let's go ahead and watch this. And if, like I said, if I get right now I'm streaming on Twitter. I'm streaming on Twitter, Odyssey, and Kick, and YouTube. And if I get a content ID match on YouTube, I'm just going to delete it. And it'll be available on kick.com. It'll be available on Twitter, Odyssey, and depending on how long it is, it may also be available on Rumble. So let's get started with Jussie Smollett. Juicy omelet. The truth comes out. Let's watch.
All right. Any other matters to come before the court today? All right. Defendants remanded for custody sheriff. Court is adjourned.
I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal. I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Unbelievable, this clown.
Jussie Smollett. Step over. That's what you need.
Oh, we get background footage of the booking. Oh, this is nice. That's nice.
Take a small step this way. Perfect.
Mr. Smollett, we're the ERT team, emergency response team. We handle all the high-profile guys. We had R. Kelly when he was here. You're in safe hands with the whole situation. A highly professional group of guys there.
Appreciate that. And then here's, looks like extra large pants. And also an extra large shirt.
Oh, you getting all turned on, taking off that shirt for the men's there.
Jussie Smollett, an actor who films the hit TV show Empire here in Chicago, told police he's the victim of a hate crime that took place near his Streeterville apartment.
Everybody immediately thought this is what Trump's America is.
Nope,
like.
I didn't think that.
You had people in MAGA hats chasing after a black man in the night.
No. See, we understand that you people love to make up stories. I am going, like I said, there's video footage of me talking about it when it happened. I said, this is bullshit. This did not happen. He's making it up. Because one thing about biracial children or biracial people, they're going overboard trying to prove how black they are. And they do extra stuff. And there was a lot of mulattoes basically faking hate crimes. So, no, I knew this was a BS story. So there's that.
Jussie Smollett, an actor who films the hit TV show Empire here in Chicago, told police he's the victim of a hate crime that took place near his Streeterville apartment.
everybody immediately thought this is what Trump's America is like.
Nope.
You had people in MAGA hats chasing after a black man in the night, tying a rope around his neck,
Not in
calling him
Chicago.
racist slurs, calling him homophobic slurs.
The idea that a modestly prominent actor on a TV show gets jumped in the middle of a very cold night.
Now remember this fool. This fool gets on webcam and he goes, Jussie, I love you like you my son. I cannot believe that white supremacists would do such a vow for you. How is it that we're living today in Trump's America where a black man cannot walk? Y'all remember this fool? Y'all remember this? This idiot was he was the first one to do a actual video with the cameras all up in his daggone his mug. I think he's the director or I think he's either the director or something with the movie. And he was just like constantly like, oh, white people should be ashamed of themselves. I cannot believe they did this. You know, how are we going to do this in Trump's America? White supremacists will never stop a black man, and I love you like a son. Like, I remember this video from this clown. He deleted it, but the copies are still on, the copies are still on Twitter.
Slurs.
The idea that a modestly prominent actor on a TV show gets jumped in the middle of a very cold night by two people yelling that it's MAGA time and putting a noose around his neck, you couldn't write that better. Everybody knows he lied, right? Am I supposed to pretend
You didn't know? Oh my God! You virtue signaled a video and said that you was going to stand by him and that we need to make it safe for black people to walk down the street in today's society. You lying piece of shit. Are you serious? Now, hindsight 2020, everybody knew they lied. Dude, the video is out there with you condemning white people. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Exactly. What white people in Southside Chicago wearing MAGA hats in less than what 20? What it actually was? It was below 10 degrees weather. Right. That's gonna happen.
Night by two people yelling that it's MAGA time and putting a noose around his neck, you couldn't write that better. Everybody knows he lied, right? Am I supposed to pretend that that's up in the air?
When I heard that a black gay man had been attacked in Chicago by white Trump supporters, sounds about white to me.
Look, I've been a cop a long time, 3 decades. Most folks aren't going out at 2 in the morning to go to a Subway sandwich shop on the coldest night of the year.
Thank you.
Where I come from, we don't trust police, right? I'm like, I know it's true, because I don't believe anything police have to say at all, ever.
This went from a hate crime to not just a hate crime investigation. You know, I'll use a word you'll probably have to bleep out, called a shitstorm. It's raining shit.
The shitstorm is about to happen.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
I never saw a case become so politicized before from the get-go. I've never seen so many people hitch their wagon to a story to advance their agenda.
That case in Chicago is a disgrace to our nation.
It was just shocking to me how this thing became this combustible.
Wait a minute, but don't forget Kamala Harris was trying to push the anti-lynching bill. By the way, lynching is against the law. But this anti-lynching bill included language in reference to trans. And it had nothing to do with killing anybody trans. It had everything to do with hate speech against trans. So that's what they was trying to do, was sneak that in. So yeah, it was, I don't know why y'all showing it to be political on the right. It was very political on the left as well. Because that was the whole purpose of the fake hate crime, was so that you all can push that anti-lynching bill. Now, let me tell you something. One thing about doing politics, being a political commentator, I remember these things like I was there. I remember that. They was trying to put, yeah, thank you, Basic Laura, and Cory Booker. Cory Booker and Kamala Harris was trying to push that bill. So I don't know why they trying to sit up here and say that was our side making it all about politics. No, that you guys started that.
Nation. It was just shocking to me how this thing became this combustible engine that just went pow.
The attack on Smollett was potentially orchestrated by the actor himself and involved 2 other men.
I knew there was going to be a media frenzy. We need to catch the guys that perpetrated this crime.
You were the ones that did it.
Yeah, it was us.
Ubuntu and
Chicago,
Kuta.
Williams.
Yes. Hello? Yeah.
What's going on?
I just need the police to come by. I work for an artist. I don't really want to say his name, but some guys, I don't know, they jumped him or something like that.
So he is like a star. He works on the show Empire. So I think he doesn't want that to be a big deal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And the thing that bothers me the most, kind of makes me emotional, is they put a makeshift what you call the thing? A noose around his fucking neck. Sorry, you know.
Do you guys live together? Or?
No. I'm just his creative director. Okay.
How you gonna keep? And I said this too. I said this. This is how another reason why I knew that he was lying. If somebody puts something humiliating around your neck, you're not going to run from the crime scene where you've been assaulted and keep that thing around your neck. Okay. For example, let me just take it from, because I want to give an example of everybody can relate to. Okay. Whether you were a man or a woman, imagine if somebody beat you up and then place a string of dildos around your neck. Would you run away from the crime scene with the string of dildos, the tiny little dildos around your neck, and go into your house, sit there for 30 minutes and wait till the police come up there and still have that around your neck? The first thing you would do is take it off before you start running away from the crime scene. As soon as you see them put that on you and you start to run away from the crime scene, it's just natural instinct. The first thing you're gonna do is take it off your neck. The first thing you're gonna do is take it off your neck. Nobody, no black person, or half black in this case, Jussie Smollett, is gonna sit up there and keep a noose around your neck until the police come. You're not gonna come into your home with the so-called noose around your neck. This is why I knew. I was like, this nigga lying. Nobody does that.
I'm just his creative director.
Okay. Do you want to take it off or anything?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to see. 72 Reverend. There's bleach on me. Bleach on me. Okay. I don't want to be filmed. Okay, so can we turn it off?
Yeah, you're giving us permission to shut it off?
I guess, should I start reading this off just in case you guys are not paying attention? Hold on, let me start doing that. Okay, hold on. Later, Jussie Smollett told the police that at least one of his attackers was white. Four hours after the attack.
A radio producer and I went out in front of our building, and we brought a ton of props. Here's our banana. Here is our bottle of water.
Wow!
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh, look at I think when we shot that video, it was 22, 23 degrees below zero, and that was the surface temperature. That wasn't the wind chill. If you've never experienced a polar vortex, it's not something you want to be outside in for very long.
True.
It literally, it shakes you at your bones, no matter how much clothing you're wearing. Your eyelashes freeze, you can feel your nose hairs, your teeth start to chatter.
A second day with record-breaking temperatures plunging into the double digits below zero, and the center of the nation locked in a deep freeze. Leaders are stressing the bitter cold still needs to be treated as lethal.
If you don't need to be outside at this time, don't go outside.
I was at City Hall along with countless other reporters from every news outlet, and the city was going to announce how it planned to deal with another night of record-setting temperatures. And as we're all sitting around, a reporter from WGN says, "Hey guys, you see this Jussie Smollett story?" The guy from Empire says he was attacked by 2 white supremacists wearing MAGA hats in Streeterville, carrying rope and bleach at 2:30 in the morning last night. And the scene would be the modern-day equivalent of that scene in Airplane when all the reporters rush to the phone booth. All of us whip out our phones, and we all start reading the story. And we all kind of look at each other, and we're like, there's no way that happened. But nobody was going to say anything. This is a racial issue. We're not going to say anything.
That's right, because you'll be called white supremacists. Within 24 hours, the attack has become part of the national conversation. This is heartbreaking and terrifying. Please pay attention to what's happening here. Sending all my love to Juicy Omelet. We all have a responsibility to rise up against the ignorance and hate out there. If you know who did this to Juicy Omelet, report them to the police. This is horrific. What kind of country do we live in?
In 2019, we were a few years into the Trump presidency, and the idea among what you might call good-thinking people is that racism was on the march in America, that it was more overt than it had been before because of Trump's obvious casual bigotry and the fact that people feared that his bigotry was giving entree to his fans to express their own previously sublimated bigotry in new ways. So that was around. Racism was on the march. The country was being run by Archie Bunker.
I love how they show all of this, but they don't show the looting and the rioting in 2020. So you get the Charlottesville shit and apply that as like the race relations, but you don't show the black supremacists who shot 5 white police officers specifically for their white. You don't show the other, even under Obama, you don't show another black supremacist who ran over a white police officer just because he's white. You don't even show the one who was in Massachusetts who actually barricaded himself in a brownstone and started shooting at police. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even show this. It's like, oh yeah, the race relations. Remember the alt-right? Remember the Nazis? Like, y'all don't show anything from your side. I don't like this. I don't like this hypocrisy of showing how race relations are, because if you want to know who started all this, it's a black man who's got your complexion by the name of Barack Obama. But continue.
Racism was on the march. The country was being run by Archie Bunker. And you think about Chicago, and Chicago certainly has a certain history about race.
Chicago politics is all about race. It's all about tribalism. That's what it is. And we pick our politicians based on their tribal identity.
That's true.
Rahm Emanuel was mayor then, and he covered up the Laquan McDonald shooting. Kid was shot 16 times by the police, and there was a video. Mr. Emanuel kept it under wraps so he could get elected.
This current state's attorney's executive leadership has been
This
an unequivocal failure.
Kim Foxx seized upon all this and rode to victory.
This night belongs to Kim Foxx, who becomes the first African-American Cook County state's attorney.
How would I frame life in Chicago in 2019? Where were we? Even though Trump was president, right? I don't think the Chicagoans are happy about that.
This was the scene tonight at the University of Illinois at Chicago Pavilion. It was supposed to have been a rally for Donald Trump.
During the election, he wasn't able to give his stump speech at the UIC Pavilion. Protesters had prevented it, and it was a continuation of Chicago protests because it was Chicago activists that brought the Laquan McDonald case to the forefront. And so activism was rolling in that winter.
And may I add, Trump let Kanye West talk him out of sending the feds up to Chicago to stop the rise of black homicides up there. So, you know, I just want to put that out there, okay? I just want to let you know, okay, that part of Chicago and Kanye West and how idiots y'all want to sit up here and listen to that stupid, unhinged, mentally ill idiot.
A friend of mine had sent me a screenshot of the front page of, I believe, a TMZ article that showed that Jussie had been attacked. I went to my brother, ran to him, and was like, yo, mission accomplished. We did it. So we were like, good job. Now we've secured the payment of our $500 that he owes us because he only wrote us a check of $3,500, and that was the day we were supposed to leave for Nigeria. Our trip to Nigeria was planned months in advance to go audition for a show called Big Brother Naija, which is a big show in Nigeria.
Things were on the up and up for us. Things were looking pretty good.
21 hours after
I do my
the attack.
newscast that night, and I go home, and I call one of the public information officers at the city of Chicago at 10:45 at night. He answers his phone. And I'm not going to give his real name. Let's just call him Steve. And I said, hey, Steve, so what's the deal with this Jussie Smollett story? And Steve goes, oh, my God, it's a bunch of bullshit. It never happened. And I said, well, can I quote you on that on the record? And he's like, no. He goes, just tweet out that Chicago police are taking this very seriously, but that we're skeptical. Now, if you've ever covered any sort of police department, you know that a public information officer will never give you anything demonstrative. Every statement is police are investigating, we have no information at this time. As we get more information, we will give it to you. They'll never give you anything with any color to it. The fact that a public information officer went on the record and said, we're not buying it, made my jaw hit the floor.
Cops, especially those who spend any time as a detective investigating crimes, have a pretty reliable pass-fail test, smell test, we'll call it. This one did not pass the smell test at all, not even a scintilla. The possibility of two individuals walking around one of the most affluent areas, the city of Chicago, at 2 o'clock in the morning, wearing MAGA hats, is again something that just defies all credibility.
Very blue area.
After I got off the phone, I tweeted out, Chicago police are taking Jussie Smollett's claim seriously, but they are skeptical. I went to Twitter. I was shocked how many news outlets went with this as truth. A lot of newspapers went with the headline, Jussie Smollett attacked in racially motivated incident. That's not a true statement. The true statement and the headline that you should have gone with is, Jussie Smollett says he was attacked in a racially motivated incident. And I was equally shocked by how many people then retweeted these articles as truth. Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, these racially motivated incidents in America need to stop. And I responded.
So you see what I'm saying? They want to sit up here and say that our side and Trump was, you know, all of them, the Republicans were basically taking this politically. But no, it was all these people. It was all the demon rats on the left. And I told you Kamala Harris and I forgot Cory Booker, they were the main ones because they wanted to push that daggone anti-lynching bill.
Harris, Joe Biden, these racially motivated incidents in America need to stop. And I responded to them on Twitter and said, you may want to find out if this is true or not before you comment on it, because anybody who knows the city of Chicago knew this story was made up, and you were going to look bad. I woke up the next morning, and my tweet was filled with hate speech and personal attacks.
You're claiming he wasn't assaulted at all? You people are trash, pure trash.
Black Lives Matter activists.
I realized today the Chicago reporter, Raphael, whatever how you pronounce his name, is responsible for much of the misinformation disseminated by the Chicago Police Department sources, in quotations, about Jussie Omelet, as he literally just repeats whatever the police says. Hey, whatever happened to DeRay? Typical for his ass to say something so stupid.
To Ray McKisson, people going after me personally.
Self-proclaimed award-winning Fox journal Raphael had on the case to prove false flag effort by a victimized actor can't manage to spell Jussie Omelet's name correctly because discrediting a victim of racism and homophobia is much more of a priority than showing him empathy. Ooh, you look crazy.
I didn't say that I didn't believe Jussie Smollett's story. I didn't, but I didn't say that. I said Chicago police didn't believe Jussie Smollett's story. Everything I reported, I attributed to the Chicago Police Department. Therefore, it was factually true. They did, in fact, say that.
4 miles from the attack.
I get a call from some detectives who I knew, who I'd worked with previously, and they wanted to know if they could come by and see me at the hotel. They're looking at all the video that there is in the neighborhood and trying to see what sort of leads they can generate. I spent 33 years of my life with the Chicago Police Department, and I culminated my career as the chief of detectives. After that, I was director of security at the Hyatt Hotel in Chicago. So they came by and said, you know, do you have any cameras on the outside? And sure enough, there it was. There's one cab at a cab stand. He's sitting on the east side of the street, and we see 2 men come along, and they jump into this cab. The cab drives off. Fortunately, there was a good angle. The video clearly displayed the cab's registration number, and the rest is history.
When they brought that footage back in and pieced it together, and then I went down there and saw it, I'm like, uh-oh. Something ain't right with this here. When you've been a cop for so long, you get certain instincts about certain things. So I remember the detective that put that footage together, we all both thinking, that don't look like 2 white guys walking down the street. Sometimes they just have different gaits, and that's what we saw on this video. They were walking like black guys from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They really were. And you know, you have to spend a lot of time getting instinct for that kind of
That's
thing.
That's true.
I remember telling the chief of detectives, those are 2 black guys.
Yeah. I even said it myself, remember? But I did not call them 2 black guys. I called them 2 niggas. That's what I called them, okay?
Those are 2 black guys.
You know, Eddie Johnson said he could tell in the footage that you guys were black, right?
Really? I feel like he's just saying that.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah,
Cap.
come on.
I call cap on that.
First of all, you still, and I'm not being mean, you still walk like a monkey. I'm not being mean. Listen, you're going to see, because we saw the preview of this. This guy walked he walks a little bit hunched over, and he waddle left and right when he walk. So I don't know why you saying cap. When you've been a police officer like he and I have, you are very familiar how people walk at night. So you can sit up here and be, delusional all you want to, but you guys are straight off the goddamn boat from Africa. How the fuck you don't even know how a fucking white person walks? Damn.
I called cap on that.
We was in character the whole time.
No, you wasn't.
So you think you guys are believable white supremacists?
100%. Look at me.
Okay, first of all,
Images released from Chicago police don't show much detail, but they're the latest in the alleged hate crime against Empire star Jussie Smollett.
So the first photo that we put out, we actually had a better photo. So now, in full disclosure, I can say this. The reason why we wouldn't let them put it out was because it did have a red MAGA hat, red baseball cap. I can't remember if it said MAGA or not.
No, it didn't
But I didn't
say
want
MAGA.
people to focus on that because it would cause more angst. So now that next day when everybody finds out about it, do you think we would have had some issues in the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have.
Yeah.
Because black people, minority folks, and the gay community would have been outraged. And you know, sometimes once that toothpaste gets out the tube, you can't put it back in there.
They were worried that if this thing if this was a racial attack, white people attacking Jussie Smollett, there could be social and political repercussions and violence.
That was
People
smart.
were literally and seriously concerned about that at the time. In a town where we had the 1919 race riots, where a child was beaten to death and killed on the beach at 31st Street because he was black.
This is Chicago. This is Chicago race relations. 1960s, Dr. King is here leading the civil rights movement. There's an iconic photo of him kneeled over after being hit in the head with a rock by a mob of white people who were violently protesting his plan to come here and integrate housing in Chicago.
Oh, I've been hit so many times, I'm immune to it.
So, of course, I had no reason to disbelieve Jussie when he says that he's
Hold on. Now that you think about it, I say, okay, this is gonna be edgy, but it's not gonna be a lie. I see why they fucking goddamn was rioting.
Oh, headshot.
I mean, look at Chicago now. I mean, were they wrong? I'm just saying, like, they had a real reason to be angry, okay? I'm just saying, like, you know, you trying to integrate their neighborhood? And I'm like, and now look at the fucking neighborhood that you integrated. Now it's a shithole. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Maybe they had a point. They had a point. I'm just saying, it looked like the white people had a point. Okay? Okay. All right. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not mad at the rioting. I'm kind of like, okay, that's maybe the brick. Hold on, I want to go back to that part. Maybe the brick was a little too far, but I kind of understand the rioting. I kind of understand upset now.
By a mob of white people who were violently protesting his plan to come here and integrate housing in Chicago.
Oh, I've been hit so many times, I'm immune to it.
So, of course, I had no reason to disbelieve Jussie when he says that he's walking in a white neighborhood in Chicago and is attacked by racists and Trump supporters. Of course, I believe him.
3 days after the attack.
We all know why we're out here. Jussie Smollett was attacked in a racist, homophobic attack by members of the MAGA movement, and we are done with it.
We want to make it clear. We know.
I'm a victim. Racism. White supremacists.
Anti-black.
Oh my God. Then you against black people.
Those MAGA hats and people who say make America
We was kings and shit. We built the pyramid. Cleopatra was black.
I got the call from one of the PIOs saying, "You're not gonna believe this. I just watched the surveillance video. I saw Smollett carrying a Subway sandwich after the supposed attack. He still had the rope around his neck." And I'm like, "Really? He was still carrying a sandwich? That must have been one fucking great sandwich." And I'm like, "Can I tweet that?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." I said, "Can I use your name?" He's like, No, just say anonymous."
Okay. Chicago police source tells Fox 32 News that Jussie Smollett was seen on surveillance still holding his Subway sandwich when he returned to the building after the alleged attack. By the way, this is true story. Subway sandwiches stocks went really, really high. Subway really got a free marketing. They got off of this bullshit. They really got... This was a good time to be a stockholder in Subway sandwiches, okay?
Source. There were 3 TV journalists that the Chicago Police Department relied on to get the information out there. It was me, Charlie DeMar at CBS 2, and Rob Algus at ABC 7. I was a little shocked how much information CPD was leaking out about this case. They've never done that with any other case that I've ever covered with them. We joke about it. You know, I'd get the call, "Hey, this happened." I'm like, "Hey, have you called Algus yet?" No, somebody else is calling Algus. I'm like, "Okay." I didn't really know why, other than a lot of folks in the media were reporting this as truth, so perhaps CPD wanted to combat that narrative.
There's a very tight-knit community here. The Chicago establishment, the cops, the lawyers, the state's attorneys, the judges, the defense attorneys. People talk. And when people talk about something that's very obvious, people are going to come to conclusions.
5 days after the attack.
The Troubadour concert. So in addition to me being a television executive and researcher, I also DJ. One of the promoters that I work with booked Jussie Smollett at the Troubadour before this happened. I was already set to DJ this show. This was not like this thing happened and then the promoter booked him and put him at the Troubadour. This was already supposed to happen. When this happens, the ticket sales, poof, exploded. The promoter hits me up and says, "Hey, we're not gonna have you DJ because he wants to use his own DJ, but this thing is like oversold. So I just need you to just come and just lend a hand." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool, I could do that, no problem." I've done a ton of shows at the Troubadour. I have never, before a show, been sitting in that bar area, looked out the window and seen that many people.
Damn.
Ever. There was a little bit of like, man, I hope nothing happens out here. Because I know a lot of right-wing people were like, F Jussie. You know, it was like a lot of that.
Why would right-wingers come to the dark side of Chicago where there's an all-black concert and featuring Jussie Smollett and fuck with them? Are you serious with me right now? Really? And by the way, is this the concert, chat? Is this the concert where stupid ass Jussie come up here and say he the gay Tupac? Yeah, they always political, Ben. They always political. I'm like, what? Are you serious? What? Y'all really don't know white people. Golly. I think this is the concert where Jussie get on stage and he brags about how he fought back and how he was going to stand up for gay men, gay black men everywhere. And then he said he's the gay Tupac. I did a video on this nigga, okay? And it's on this channel. And I talked about that. I was like, you lying. Anyway, let's go ahead to this. Hold on a second. Let me rewind it a little bit.
A little bit of like, man, I hope nothing happens out here. Because I know a lot of right-wing people were like, F Jussie. You know, it was like a lot of that sort of, those kind of negative comments floating around in the atmosphere. Here he is doing a show at a very public place, middle of Los Angeles, a ton of media, right? It's just like a spectacle. And I was like, man, I hope nothing happens.
Ain't not gonna happen. Yeah, this is it.
So Jussie takes the stage, and this is it. Show. Like he's doing his thing. The dude is talented. But during the middle of the show, and this is when I trusted my instincts. This is when I came to the realization that this is not real.
I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked.
Here we go.
They were not broken. I went to the doctor immediately. Frank Gatson drove me. I was not hospitalized.
I'm listening and I'm in there. My heart is in there. I'm like, this is what's up. Wow, we're getting it straight from the horse's mouth.
And above all, I fought the fuck back.
Yeah, this is it. I'm the gay Tupac.
He then says,
I'm the gay Tupac.
I would not forget this shit. I would not forget this shit this nigga said. You the gay Tupac. I was like, I would not forget that. I was like, what? What? Tupac got shot several times. You got a noose around your neck and got a noogie on your face. What are you talking about? Oh my God, we gotta rewind that. Hold on a second.
I'm listening and I'm in there. My heart is in there. I'm like, this is what's up. Wow, we're getting it straight from the horse's mouth.
And above all, I fought the fuck back.
He then says,
I'm the gay Tupac.
And the crowd just goes crazy. They wanted to believe it. But in my mind, when he says that, it was a letdown. I knew it was false. I knew it was completely false. I knew that that didn't happen the minute he said that. And the reason why I knew that is because anyone who's been through that kind of trauma and that sort of situation would never describe it in those terms.
Nope.
I've been robbed. I know people who have robbed people.
Yeah.
I have never, ever, ever heard them describe that experience in any way close to that.
Nope.
Never in my life.
Never.
And that's when I knew. I said, if that really happened to you, you would never describe it in that way.
Nope.
Ever.
Nope.
Ever. There's no sort of heroics about that. There's no puffing your chest up about that sort of thing.
12 days after the attack.
When I first arrived in Chicago after being told to go there to cover the Jussie story, we're about like a week and a half after the crime actually happened. So the story's already been international news. So I was like, let me just go check out the scene of the crime. Chicago's a notoriously clean city. In New York City, there's trash all the time, everywhere. So that's not really saying much if you see trash on the ground, you know, X amount of days after an event happened. But in Chicago, it is saying something. I'm looking around, and then I notice a hot sauce bottle. It was an unusual piece of trash, and as a New Yorker, I know trash very well. So I pick it up, and I kind of smell it, and it had this like kind of soapy smell. And I was like, this is all just like super weird. At the time that I found this piece of evidence, all we knew is that Jussie had a chemical agent poured on him and that the vessel that the agent came from had never been recovered. That's all we knew at that point. They had his clothes, but they never found the bottle where the bleach was poured on him. At the time, you know, there's a manhunt all over the city. The Chicago Police Department has deployed all of their resources. They have thrown everything in the kitchen sink at this story because it's making international waves. So then I had the fun task of calling up the Chicago Police Department's Detective Bureau and saying, hi, I'm a journalist here covering the scene, and I think I found something that's a little bit strange and you guys might want to come take a look at it. And the sergeant comes and they end up putting some little crime scene tape and putting a little marker on it, taking some pictures, like doing the whole CSI thing with the hot sauce bottle, which was really funny. My newsroom was a little bit concerned that there might be more to this story. So I went door to door on Jussie's neighbors, spoke to people coming in and out, and people doubted it. You know, that's like, nobody was really saying that publicly, but behind closed doors, everyone was wondering, how the hell does something like this happen in Chicago? At this point, they still don't have a person of interest. And while Chicago is practically bathed in surveillance cameras, Jussie had picked the one spot in town to get attacked that didn't have a camera on it. At the time, I couldn't tell if it was people who were just very proud of their city and who would be like, no way something like this could happen in my city, like a very proud Chicagoan, which is like very Chicago. It started to occur to me that there might be something more to this. I mean, people who live in this neighborhood know who frequent these neighborhoods, and they didn't think it was possible. And then at the same time, I'm working the Chicago Police Department as well for any updates in the case. I'm pumping them. You know, I demand an interview. I was like, we're the New York Post. I'm like, we're a national newspaper. We circulate right here in Chicago, so talk to me about this case. And I started to kind of get that hint that not everything was adding up with them. And you start to get the vibe that he's not really helping this investigation. And then, of course, the question is, why wouldn't you be helping the investigation? You've been the victim of a horrifying crime.
On February 11th, Jussie Smollett finally turns his phone records over to Chicago police, but they concluded that the information is inadequate.
You know, as journalists, we are often called to report on uncomfortable truths, and it is a difficult part of the job. And then you also, it's a scary time to be gay. You know, I'm a gay woman. Looking at Jussie's story and seeing how he was the victim of a hate crime, and you know that's a fear that you have. Anytime I walk I walk down the street holding hands with my wife, I have to worry about being the victim of a hate crime.
Not in no blue city, you lying heifer. I mean, this ain't the backwoods of Alabama. You in Chicago, they don't care.
And to see that he was a victim of this supposed crime, and then to start to see that there's some doubt about it, it's uncomfortable. Am I saying that a black and gay man lied about being the victim of a hate crime? Because that is a really, really serious thing to say. And I really didn't want to be the person to say that.
Jussie Smollett finally turns phone records over to the cops. Jussie Smollett gives incomplete phone records to the cops.
But once I had the evidence that I did, the public had a right to know what was going on with this case.
Initially, the groundswell was pro-Smollett. There was a rallying cry. People wanted it to be true. Everybody was nervous about going against that story initially on.
There's nothing more biddable or malleable than a white liberal journalist who's dealing with racial issues. They are terrified of anyone possibly calling them a racist. And so they'll create a hero out of a bug like Jussie Smollett.
They shouldn't care about nothing.
As the leaks came out from Chicago PD, that's when the public opinion changed. And PD knew that. It was very smart of them to do that. Those leaks helped us, let's be real. They served our agenda, but our agenda was, we work in media. We want more viewers. We want more readers. The more people that watch us, the more job security we have.
When did you know for sure this wasn't a hate crime?
I think maybe by that third day is when the detectives had the evidence and linked it to the Osendero brothers.
Okay, video evidence from more than 55 sources tied the Osendero brothers to the attack.
The detectives did an awesome job of collecting that video and tracking it back. By that time, we knew it was a hoax because we know the Osendero brothers are the ones that perpetrated it. So we had it dead to rights. You know, we just needed them to tell us what actually happened. They're out of the country, so I didn't want anybody knowing about that. We also knew when they were coming back, which wasn't that big of a time frame. But my fear was this, because we knew they were out of the country, I didn't want them getting wind of it and not come back to Chicago.
So you guys are on a plane back from Nigeria, headed into here. What are you expecting when you land?
Flying back from Nigeria, we were expecting our other $500 check.
We need our cheese. We need the rest of our money. I felt like I was just gonna get back to business. Head back, start doing auditions, continue working out, and living my great life.
I had a whole different feeling. I felt like the police was waiting for me. That's what I felt like. They're releasing all these little bits of evidence, but they knew it was us. I was like, they're just waiting for us to come back. And lo and behold, when I was getting off the plane, the customs agent was checking everyone's passport. And when they got to me, they pulled me aside. 2 big-ass police officers came up. I went with them, I was like, damn, it's over with. They got me.
It was like a movie itself.
It was like a movie.
The Chicago Police Department confirming they've been talking with 2 people of interest in the case for hours. The reason why the men were there is now central to the investigation.
I don't believe it's my boys. I don't know what's going on, but I know it's not them.
Just because they were black doesn't mean...
They didn't do nothing. They was going to go to Harvard to be doctors. They didn't do nothing. They didn't... I get so many white people say, what is a didn't do? Okay, so here we go. Here is an example of a didn't do. This is the reason why we say didn't do. Because mama, always black mamas, my boy ain't do nothing. They ain't never do nothing. They gonna be doctors. They gonna be scientists. They going to Yale. You know what I'm saying?
The reason why the men were there
don't know why
is
they
now
do this
central
shit
to the
every
investigation.
time.
I don't believe it's my boys. I don't know what's going on, but I know it's not them.
Just because they were black doesn't mean that they weren't the perpetrators here.
This was just some Hollywood shit.
It's MAGA country. Yeah, you heard me.
And I'm just in my head like, what the F?
The start of Jussie's own demise was his interview with Robin Roberts.
That's when I told Gloria, like, yeah, I'm ready to talk to the police and tell them exactly everything that happened.
I'm pissed off. What is it that has you so angry? What happened that night, Jussie?
Oh, this was so good. I'm sorry. This was so good. I'm hooked. So they gave us the first episode for free. Ooh, money's coming in now.
Subway sandwich so good you will walk 3 blocks in the snow and even get your ass beaten for a toasted turkey on white bread.
Thank you, Cornelius Brutus, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like, who the hell goes to, hold on, let me put in a nice, there we go. We'll put it on, we'll leave it like this. Who the hell goes to Subway in minus 22-degree weather? Minus 22-degree weather. And you're a celebrity? Dude, oh my God. Like that, this is, but no, this is really good. Whoever did this documentary, they're really good. The music, the suspense, the interviews of the various people. The only thing I don't like it is how they're gonna make it seem like our side is the unhinged side when it was their side that's the unhinged side. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, but yeah, that was really good. So it looks like Fox Nation was pretty decent with this one, because let me tell you what they're doing. It looks like they're giving you the first episode for free, and then you got to get a membership to Fox Nation for the rest. If that is the case, I'm gonna need somebody to get a daggone. I'm gonna need somebody to get an actual membership to Fox Nation. I'm saying, like, dude, are you serious? Come on now. This was really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I want to see the next series. I want to see episode 2. This is episode. You got one. You got one. Who's that say? BTOR. You got a membership, BTOR. You got one too, VS Travels. You got one too, ARCs. Oh my God. All right then. All right. So guess what, guys? We will be doing the second viewing, because all I need to do is screen. Listen, All I need to do is log in and screen grab it, and then but we can't show it on because they'll get me on YouTube, but I can show it on my site and other places and on Twitter. So there's that. So so yes, you got one too, Jack Sparrow guy. Oh, we are in there. We are in there. Yes. So guys, we're gonna be watching episode 2 when it comes out. If one of you or all of you can, it doesn't matter, could send me an email, go to treeoflogic.com, send me an email, and we'll see. And what I'll do is I'll contact you if they put it behind a paywall. But it looks like that's what they're doing. It looks like that's what they're going to do. It's like they're going to give you, because this is addicting. I'm not going to lie. This was a great marketing scheme. It's like they're giving you the first episode for free, and you're hooked, which I am. I'm not going to lie. I am hooked. And so therefore you got to go behind the paywall to see the rest of it. So it's a really good marketing scheme. I'm not going to lie. I want to see the next part of it and everything and react to it. So there's that. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave the video up, provided that I don't get hit with a content ID. If I get hit with a content ID, then I'm going to take it down. But it will be available on Rumble, Odyssey, and Kick.com. So those of you who came in late, no worries. The video will stay up, because this was a bonus that we had learned doing my TreeHouse news. So that being said, okay? All right, guys. So those of you who are part of my website, treeoflogic.com, you go to the watch party. We'll be having a watch party tomorrow, strictly on treeoflogic.com. For the rest of you guys, I'll see you either on Just Tree 411 on Saturday, or I'll see you on Sunday for Sunday Madness here on this channel. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for having fun with me, and I'll see you next time. Later, taters.